You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
Richard, what's happening, my man?
Hey, buddy. It's good to see you.
Indeed,
That's
indeed.
a sharp suit, boy. I just bought a blue seersucker, and that's a pretty yellow you got on.
You know, I got it in yellow, pink, white. You know,
Yeah.
First of all, I go to Essence Festival every year.
Right.
This is all pre-COVID, so
Right.
you know. So I'll do seersucker one year. I'll do a whole other outfit.
Yeah.
And so, cause we look, I'm from Houston, so when you're dealing with heat,
Okay.
you got to know how to be clean.
Yeah.
In the heat.
You got to know how to be clean and stay clean.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, that's a whole trick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know, the thing about living in the South and all that humidity people complain about, don't nobody have any skin problems. Everybody sweated out. Everybody got pretty skin.
That's right, cause your pores.
Ain't nothing left in them pores.
Well, it always cracks me up because folks always like, oh my God, you know, LA got beautiful weather. I said, look, I said, I like heat. I'm sorry. I said, you got an old school family get together.
Right.
I said, I can't have it where it's 74, 75. I said, you got to have some heat, some sweat.
You got to sweat. You got to sweat. And my concept is that I'm going to adapt to wherever it is I am.
Right.
If it's in Alaska and it's cold, you got to adapt. Otherwise, you add effect to it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be at effect of nothing.
Indeed.
I want to be at cause. So
Absolutely.
Let me just get in and be at one with whatever the condition is.
That's true. That's true. Where you from?
I'm originally from Oakland. I grew up in Oaktown, all over Oakland, every project in Oakland.
Now, see, I'm about to be real black. Where your people from?
My people are from Louisiana.
See, there you go. See, now, see right there. I always do that.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's watching, you need to understand, black folks, if they from Oakland, LA,
Detroit.
Chicago, Detroit, you always got to say, no, where your people from.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what a lot of folks don't, and the reason a lot of people don't realize is that was the great Creole migration.
Right.
That was from Louisiana.
Right. Are you Creole?
My grandparents, Opelousas, Louisiana.
Okay.
So what happened was, you get the Great Migration. They left Opelousas,
Right.
like a lot of black folks in Louisiana.
Right.
They migrated. That's why it's a whole. So you go Beaumont, Baytown, Barrett Station. I got all relatives who live Crosby. Huge in Houston.
Huge in Galveston.
It ain't nothing between Houston and California.
That's right.
They literally said either we're gonna stop in Houston,
Right.
we're gonna make our way to California.
Right,
There ain't no Creole people between Houston
None.
and Oakland, Oakland and LA.
None. They're Indian, blacks and Indians together. There's some black and Indian people there, but Creole people
Nah.
kind of stop at Houston.
They said, look, we either gonna stay here or we gonna make it all the way to California.
That's right. That's right.
So your folks are from there. Where in Louisiana?
Lafayette, and right outside of Lafayette. And so outside Ridge, Dusson. And so all of my people, my great-grandfather bought himself out of slavery
Really?
and then bought his brothers and sisters out of slavery. And they settled in Dusson, Louisiana, and became large landowners. They bought property and became farmers and really took the whole level of sharecropping to a whole nother level, where, you know, the concept of one man taking 1,000 pounds of cotton to the gin, he's gonna get X. But if you can put together a consortium of 100 people who take 1,000 pounds of cotton to the gin, they're gonna get X to the 10th power. And so he galvanized people and created societies and built schools and all kind of things.
What was his name?
His name was Alcide Will Turner. And then my grandmother married a Broussard. And
I got a
so
whole bunch of Broussards in my family too.
we got Broussard, well, you know,
Broussards, Mouton, Malvo, Robichaux, all them Vols.
all them bowls, all them bowls, all them
All
bowls.
them EAUXs.
Yeah, tray hands, you
Yeah,
know.
See, my folks are Lamond.
Okay.
So Lemond.
Okay.
And then now some changed their name to Lemon.
To
So I have an
Lemon.
uncle who was Earl Lemon.
Right.
But his brother who was my grandfather,
Yeah.
Clarence Lamond.
Right.
And so they just dropped the D.
Right.
So I was like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. You
Yeah.
know, one of the plays that started me in the business was No Place to Be Somebody, and it was Charles Gordon. Mm-hmm. Well, Gordon or Gordon.
Right.
You know, we gonna change some shit. You know,
Or they
like-
gonna change it.
Or they gonna
don't
change
want to pronounce our name.
That's true. That's true. That's true. There's a lot of that. You know, Houston or Houston.
Right.
You know, Rodeo or Rodeo.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better cost less than you think.
Now, how did you learn about your family history? Was that passed down, or was that through research?
No, we have a family reunion every other year, and there's so many people. I mean, like for instance, my grandfather, my great grandfather had 24 kids, and so between his brothers and sisters, and all of the kids, we have a family reunion. Be like maybe 500 to 700 people, and so you know we make it a point to stay connected and to celebrate and to understand, you know, what our people brought to the family and stuff. And so there's a real consciousness to stay connected and to understand your history.
See, it's interesting because whenever for the longest when I would come to LA, I would, folks always want to say, let's get together for lunch, breakfast. I said, look, I can't eat with everybody.
Right.
I said, or I'll be 500 pounds. So I said, let's do this here. So I said, we're gonna do what my growing up, we just call them get-togethers.
Right.
Where literally it was, you just call a few people, and the next thing you know, it's a party.
Right.
And I did it one year, and then I had like a dinner at the Beverly Hilton, about 30 people showed up. And then the next year we did it, so I was like, I want to host it at my house. And so it just grew and grew. Mm-hmm. And folks were like, well, man, when you coming back? I said, y'all from here, y'all live here.
Right.
Why y'all can't call each other?
Yeah.
Oh man, when you to connect, I said, why do you need a reason to get together? And that's really coming out of a huge family where it was just pop-up get-togethers. And next thing you know, like I say, it'd be a weekday school night, and there's 30, 40, 50 people at the house, and we cooking and playing music and just having a good time.
Right. Well, you know, usually hopefully there's somebody in the family that has that consciousness of fellowshipping people in the family. You know, like in Louisiana, you know, it's a very friendly kind of environment, and food is a very important part of that in terms of getting together. My grandmother would cook, and she'd cook this big meal, and she would sit there and watch you eat it.
Really?
Because she enjoyed, I mean, that was
your reaction.
Your reaction, because food is a language.
Yep.
You know, in the way that it's prepared and with the love that's prepared and the satisfaction that people get from eating it, you know what I mean? It's like, and then people bringing whatever their specialties are. It's a language and it's a way to bond people. Mm-hmm. I love cultures that make food and fellowship a very important part of the exchange.
Well, that's why the phrase, some people eat to live, some live to eat.
Right.
When I interviewed Leah Chase, and she said, "Okay, I'm gonna fix you something." I said, "Well, no." I said, I'm on a diet." She said, "Oh no, She said, "Well, she said, we believe in the broad shoulder." She said, "And the belly over the belt." She said, "No." She had me cracking up laughing.
Yeah.
But you're right. That is I mean, it's amazing to me when I come here again, folks. I never forget. We had a party in Lionel Richie. He's like, "Man, this is great." He said, "I've been knowing Verdine White for 35 years, and this is the longest conversation we had because normally we pass each other backstage or whatever."
Right.
And it was just folks just hanging. There was no agendas.
Right.
I said, "Ain't no dress code.
Yeah.
There are no rules."
Yeah.
I said, "If you can make it, great.
Right.
If you can't, that's fine."
Yeah.
But it's just getting together and when you said it, fellowshipping.
Right. Well, you know, it's so interesting because we have a friend in New York, Lorraine Schwartz, who is a jeweler. She's a jeweler to everybody, but and she's Jewish. And on Friday night they have Shabbat, and so we went to Shabbat one night, and you know there was probably about 15 people there, but it was so much fun because they can't go out, so they bring people in.
There you go.
And I said, you know, what I love about that is that it brings people that you love together. So Tina and I are talking about doing Shablack. doing Shablack on Sunday. Doing a Sunday thing, and we invite our family over because, you know, when you consider all of the people that are the family and extended family,
Right.
we have a good number of people.
But that's what Sunday dinner was.
That's what Sunday
it was.
dinner was.
I mean, and again, and everybody knew
It was supper.
where
by the way.
everybody was.
Yeah.
And so no matter what you were doing,
Right.
you knew, yo, so-and-so house,
Yeah.
they having dinner, you could stop by.
Right, but it was supper.
Right.
Because in the evening in the South, you know, dinner is earlier. Supper is the evening meal.
See, we had all day. So my grandmother had a catering business, and so we would go to the Catholic church where I grew up in was founded in my grandparents' living room.
Oh, wow.
So we would go to 10 o'clock service.
Wow.
We live 8 blocks away.
Yeah.
Everybody knew you met at Mother and Papa's house after church.
Right.
So by 1 p.m.,
Yeah.
yo, is cooking going on.
Right.
And we there until 11.
Right. Okay.
So the funniest part, Richard, is don't lie. I can't cook for 2 people.
You can't. So you cook
Bro,
for a
every
group.
Sunday, it was 60, 80 people.
God.
My grandparents
Damn.
had 8 kids.
In one house?
And this was not this house.
Right.
Bruh, they had 8 kids who had 42 grandkids.
Woo.
Bro, so you talk about 8 kids, spouses, 16.
Right.
42 grandkids.
Damn.
Bruh, grandparent. That's man, we would do softball game. That's every Sunday. That's how, I don't know how we fit in that house.
This is in Louisiana?
No, that's in Houston.
Oh, in Houston. Right.
I saw how my grandfather could feed all them people with 2 chickens in a gumbo. Everybody had a piece of meat in that bowl.
He stretched that shit out.
Everybody had a piece of meat. You had a piece of meat and sausage and shrimp in that bowl.
Right.
And you may not have 2 or 3, but you're gonna have something in that bowl.
Right.
But that was. Let me tell you something. I had some of the family members die. Seriously, my aunt just died. 2 of my aunts just died, and I was reflecting on it. I never spent the night at a non-family member's house growing
Really?
up. Wasn't no
Really?
room for friends.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. I had 40 plus cousins.
But you know the beauty of that, and that's one of the things that is missing today, was the fact that part of your education came from the generations in your family.
Huge.
You know, like the grandparents.
Huge.
Important, because that's where you learn stories of the past. That's where you learn stories of where you came from, your great grandparents. And that's where your greatest values came
Yep.
from, your grandparents, because parents are learning how to be parents. And
Yeah.
grandparents they done been there, done that. And so they have the patience to be able.
And here's the deal. There was no adults in this room and kids in that room.
Right,
No.
right.
Same room.
Same room.
So part of the reason folks are like, man, when you debate on TV, I said, oh no. If you had to get through the family debates, I said, that stuff I do on TV easy. Because those were debates. Because see, here was the deal.
Right.
If you were young, if you want to jump your ass in that conversation,
right,
they'll let you jump in.
Right.
But you would not treat like a child.
Right.
You had to hold your own.
Right. Exactly.
So if you decided to open your mouth,
right,
they were like, okay, you can bring your ass in here.
Right.
But you might get sent out with your butt kicked.
Right.
So you better have your stuff. So growing up, seeing that and seeing the arguments and the back and the forth, that was practice.
That was practice. and that's where you learn to develop a point of view.
Absolutely.
Because you had to have an opinion, and you had to hold your opinion.
And you had to defend it.
And you had to defend it.
Because it was vicious.
Yeah.
I saw my grandfather, aunts, and uncles, and I was like, damn. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, he weak, he got a weak point. That ain't gonna hold up. They better eat that one alive.
They're gonna eat it up.
They eat that one alive.
Yeah.
But that to me, man, was a thing of family.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better cost less than you think.
Talk about so the art piece that you and Tina do. This annual event. To me, I sort of see that the same way.
Right.
Having where you're bringing people together and it's cultural expression.
Right.
And it goes back to again who we are as a people.
Who we are as a people. Exactly.
How did that start? Where did that come from?
Well, it's an interesting thing. When I grew up, my mother always had somebody in the house. Someone was always staying with us. And so early on, I learned to give, and I learned to share, and I learned to be a caretaker. My mother and father divorced when I was 6 years old, so I became a surrogate husband and a surrogate father taking care of my sister. So in terms of caring for people, that started early in my life. Tina grew up in a family where I think she had 7 brothers and sisters, and she had, there was a crew because her oldest sister had 8 kids. And so they all grew up together, you know what I mean? So in terms of taking care of each other, in terms of extending a hand, it was real in both of our lives. When I met her back in 1980, she was my sister's best friend, and she was pregnant with Beyonce. And she observed that I was always helping somebody. I was always helping somebody move. I ran an underground railroad. When I got to California, I was managing 2 apartment buildings for Three Dog Night. You remember Three Dog Night? I was managing 2 apartment buildings for them. I always reserved 2 rooms. Now this is some illegal shit, but I reserved 2 rooms for my friends coming out here from New York, actors from New York, Chicago, Detroit, that didn't have a place to stay. And so this is a brand new building, and so I kept that for them so that they could have a place, and I just never had the key. So when they came to examine the building, damn, I can't find the key, and I didn't have the master key, so I could never open that door. But I told them, get the hell out of there while I take care of this business. So both of us naturally helped others. So I knew her all those years. We were friends. We've been friends for like 40 years. And I would observe her. She was the sweetest person in the world. She was always giving, always helping. She was a mother to hundreds of people. She was doing everything for others, and she would see me do the same thing. So we developed, we both were were great caretakers of other people, and together we worked hard to do that. And we recognized that in each other. So one day we were talking, and she was going to create a center in Houston. I had my own business and my own school, and so it was sort of a natural thing that we fell into. Why don't we create a theater, and why don't we start a nonprofit where we mentor kids? And so that's what we do. So we mentor about 100 kids. We have a fully functioning theater that is like a community theater, and we do plays and dance recitals, and our kids come and they learn to art. They learn now how to become filmmakers. They're making films. We have a film festival coming up just for kids who are making films about the trials and tribulations of young people, so that we can create a channel where other young people will be able to come and see that, wait, you're not alone, because other people deal with bullying, self-image, depression, COVID, parents, school, etc., all the issues, pregnancy, all that kind of stuff, making wonderful films. And so Tina and I have a natural proclivity to care for other people and help, And at this stage in our life, it's perfect because I'm 74 and she's 67. We don't have no problems talking about our age because we try to take care of ourselves, and so the real whole point is you can't keep it unless you give it away.
Right. And
that's what we do. And we do great joy. We have great joy in doing that. The gala is a huge event. You came, right?
I've been.
You've never been to the gala?
I've been.
Oh man, people are calling it the Met of the West because it's a wearable art gala.
But see, I'm glad they not calling it the Black Met.
No.
See,
No.
It's like, Josh Gibson, that's the Black Babe Ruth. No, that's Josh Gibson.
That's Josh Gibson, right. That other people are calling it that.
Right.
They can call what they ever want to call it.
Right.
Our point is to bring people together, and one of the things that helped to influence and sort of set the tone was we took 10 kids to Africa 2 years ago. And it was sort of like, the year of the return. So it was commemorating 400 years of slavery off of the Ghanaian western coast of Africa. We took 10 kids over there, and it was really the experience of their lives. And it was a grounding force for me, because when I was standing in the dungeons, those slave dungeons, and I had just done 23andMe, and I'm 20% Ghanaian and 30% Nigerian. So 50% of me is African heritage. So standing in those dungeons, the reality of the fact that I'm standing on my own DNA.
That's right.
Some of my people came through this spot. And when I looked at my great-grandfather, and I looked at my mother, and I looked at all the people in my family, and I looked at the resilience they had, it really connected me with my African heritage in terms of here I stand today standing on those shoulders. So one of my desires is, and one of the things that we do, is the evolution of African culture in the Western society. We start there, and we're also going to look at how African culture traveled east through Japan and China. But one of the things in terms of helping African Americans understand and appreciate where we came from, what we are connected to, the strength of our history, the strength of our present, and looking at these young people today and what's going on politically, that, it's so funny. I just heard this song the other day that I'm looking to put in, and I don't remember it word for word. It was like, look at them flames lighting up the sky. Something flying up so high. It looks to me like them niggas ain't playing. Them niggas ain't playing. Them niggas ain't playing. Looking at the fact that we ain't playing. It's serious today. And we ain't going back to where we came from. We can only go forward. And we can only go forward if we understand as a people where we came from and the beauty of our past. And so I'm trying to connect that beauty through what we share with our kids and also what we create in art. I'm in the process of directing a play on film that's never been done like this before, where there's a play called Black Terror that Richard Wesley wrote, and this is the 50-year anniversary, and it is about the revolution, and it was done at the Public Theater in New York. Joe Papp produced it. It had a great run then, and it's just time for us to kind of take a look at the concept of what it takes in order to make things change. And so we're doing this as a co-production deal with Newark Symphony Theater. So between the two of us, I'm directing it and conceiving it. In November, I'll send you a link to check it out.
Where did acting start? Where did that come from? Was it a family member? Did you meet somebody? Or were you always just showing out in front of the family and decided to get paid for it?
None of that. None of that. It was so weird. My mother worked 16 hours a day for 16 years as a nurse, a bedpan person. And she just wanted me to find something that I love and do that. And so, you know, I went to school, I played football, I dropped out to go into business. I was gonna go into business right quick, a furniture moving business with my cousin. We were humming, man. Government found out that I had dropped out of school, went in the Army, got drafted, went in the Army, went to Vietnam, spent my year in Vietnam, and during the Tet Offensive, I was a combat medic. I saw things that was really, I'm so grateful for, because it really has helped me to appreciate life on a whole nother level. I got out of school 3 months early. I went to a junior college because that's the only place I can get in real quickly. And I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And so I said, but this is junior college. I'm gonna go join the debate team because lawyers debate. I was in that department, and this woman came into the room where I was sitting and said, whose voice is that? Who you looking for? That's the voice. What you doing at 3:30 today? I said, she said, good, come to room 708. I went to room 708. She was doing Reader's Theater at Antigone.
So all she heard is your voice.
She just heard my voice. She walked down the hall into this room because she heard my voice. And she pulled me into—
Y'all were debating, or you were just talking?
We're just talking. I'm talking to the people in the debate department. She's not in the debate department. She was in the English department, and she was trying to find somebody to do a stage reading of Antigone.
And she hears this voice and says,
yeah, I want that voice.
I want that voice.
And so I did it, you know, and when I did it, we did a reading for a bunch of people in the auditorium, and people responded. It was like, yo, okay, all right. Then she corralled me into forensics, which is competitional speech, and then I became the state champion, undefeated. And then the drama coach—
He ain't bragging. He ain't bragging. He ain't bragging. He just undefeated. Just let y'all know.
Look, the facts are the facts.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it. We upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better cost less than you think.
Glenn DuBose, the drama teacher, came and said, would you be interested in doing this musical called Golden Boy? And you have to sing, dance, and act. And I said, okay. And I started studying singing and dancing. I studied with Barbra Streisand's coach and never sang before any of that. And so I was doing this musical called Golden Boy. Sammy Davis did it on Broadway. Ben Vereen understudied him and did it in London. And so I'm doing this musical, and I'm in the middle of the last song called I Ain't Bowing Down. And all of a sudden, I just had this epiphany that this is what I was put on this earth to do. It was clear and direct. It was like a voice that said, this is what you're here for.
Wow.
And in that moment, I'm have a revelry in this moment.
Like you're in the middle of a song.
I'm standing center stage singing this song,
And it's
all of a
like,
sudden, it hit me just like that. And I'm like lost in this moment. And then somebody comes and says, Richard, I ain't bowing down. I ain't bowing down. And I went and started singing that song like a whole nother reality. And it was, I understood that that was my purpose. And from that moment to this moment, I have been on vacation because I have been doing the thing that I love and the thing that I'm on this planet to do. And this gives me a platform to do everything else.
What do you say to the people who hear that and they say, a voice just hit you like that? It never hit you before. It never. But what do you say to the people who say, I don't know if that thing speaks that, if God speaks to you in that way?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that I was in a plane crash in 1992.
I was going to get to that.
So what I'm going to talk about is God speaking to you in a way that I'm underwater, trapped in my seat in this plane. So the first thing that hits me.
This was in New York City, LaGuardia?
LaGuardia Airport, March 22nd, 1992. I'm flying to Cleveland, and we didn't get off the runway, ice on the wings, and the plane crashed. And I knew the plane was going to crash, but I'll wait until we get into that. But what I'm talking about in this is that I'm trapped underwater in my seat. So the first thing that hits me is all the K shit. That's a radio station that's in your head that plays all the negative stuff that comes up, all the skeletons and all the things that you have dealt with, all of the secrets and all of that stuff that comes to you when you are in those moments of panic, fear, whatever, the negativity. And then there's another voice that comes in, and I call that K-Art, another radio station that comes in, and on that station are the voices of the positive people, of the things that said you could do this, get your ass up, don't give up, come on, you got this. That kicks in and basically guides you through. But you have to be present, and you have to be open, and you have to be willing to listen. Now that voice has hit me many, many times on a number of occasions. This is an odd side story, but so true. So I have, you know, the ability to perceive, to discern, and a bit of a clairvoyant to a certain extent.
Those are spiritual gifts.
Those are spiritual gifts, and I don't always listen. But when I do, you know, it's powerful. I was looking at, I love horses. Very first thing I ever wanted to be was a jockey. And then as I got big, I realized, well, boy, you ain't gonna be no jockey. You too big, you too heavy to ride a horse. But I like horse races, and so there's a Ruffian was a filly, undefeated filly, and she was going to do a match race. It's the last match race that I heard of against the Kentucky Derby winner. And I ran home to see this race, turned on the TV. All of a sudden, I just had this epiphany that, wow, this horse is going to break down. This race can't happen. This can't happen. I got this cold chill. I start moving around the house. What do I do? What do I do? I picked up the phone. I called Belmont Park. I said, I got to talk to somebody. I know this sounds crazy, but Ruffian is going to break down. You can't run this race. Silence. Hold on. Went on hold. Long time. Then I realized, they think I'm crazy. They're going to trace this call. I hung up the phone. I sat there. I had a cold chill. I can almost feel it now, cold chill, shaking. The race starts. You go around the first turn. They're in the middle of the backstretch. Ruffian breaks down. They have to euthanize the horse on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you tell somebody that?
Right.
How do you tell somebody that where they think, oh, this boy's a little touched, a little crazy? But that kind of thing comes to me, and it's come to me many, many times. And it came to me that day about my own career, and it came to me about the plane crash, because I knew that plane was going to crash.
Before it happened?
Before it happened. The whole process, when I was about to get on the plane, I had that.
It hit you?
It hit me clear. And
it hit you clear before you, and what you didn't do was you didn't listen to it.
I didn't listen to it.
You were saying, I got to get to Cleveland, I got this thing I got to do, and it was telling you, Richard, do not get on this plane.
Get off the plane. Get off the plane. And the other voice comes in and says, oh, shut your ass down. What's wrong with you? What you gonna tell David Stern, because I was running the drug program for the National Basketball Association. Mm-hmm. So I was on my way to Cleveland to meet with the Cavaliers. Meet with the Cavaliers. It was so funny. I went to this event the other night. You know the Pumps, Dana Pump? Mm-hmm. They have a thing where they raise money, right?
Right.
And Isaiah Thomas was there, and we have a very fond relationship because he knows the work that I did. And he said, man, I tell people all the time, the drug program today is because of you. You did that. You ran that program, and then that's why it's still successful today. So I was on my way to Cleveland. And so I'm battling. What you gonna tell people? You can't tell people that you were afraid to fly.
Right.
David Stern is gonna say, well, maybe you should find another line of work.
Right.
You know, so I battle, get off this plane. Right up to the very end, where we're getting ready to take off, the lights came on and the snow was blowing sideways, and it was like, stand up, just stand up. They have to stop the plane and turn around if you just stand up. And I froze, and the plane started going down the runway. And I'm saying, man, it's going too slow. Come on. And the plane took off, and it just rolled immediately to the side. I said, see? And then I saw this big flash out orange on the buildings over there. It had struck something, and then it went to flames, and then it tumbled and wound up in the bay, in Flushing Bay. So, and then there was a whole reality of what was going on in my head when I was underneath, and accepting death because I couldn't move. I was in the first row. Here's another thing, is that I first sat, and it's so ironic because just on my phone, I could show you a text from the girl who I switched seats with me because I was in seat 6A. The brother recognized me the ticket agent recognized me and said, "Man, you want to move up to first class?" I said, "Yeah," because they didn't pay for first class unless you flew over 3 hours, right? So I said, "Yeah." He came back and said, "Nah, it's full." And I said, "No, it's cool." Just before the plane closed the door, he came and said, waved me up to 1F. These two girls sitting in 5 said, "Hey, can we take your seat?" Because he blocked out 6B, just so I wouldn't have to sit next to this crying baby.
Right.
And so they took 5 and 6A and 6B. The one girl who sat in 6A first said, "I'm uncomfortable. Can I switch seats?" They switched seats. The friend that sat in 6A died. And the woman in 6B lived. She had burns and she lived. But this girl here got the brunt of those flames because what I saw out the window was that wing hit a weather tower and then the jet fuel exploded. So, but I knew. Now, what does it do for me today? It is in terms of listen. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, genius is following your first impression with good-humored inflexibility, even when the whole cry of voices is on the other side. Because that's what affects us is the other side.
Right.
People's opinion.
What are they going to say? What are they going to think? What do they say about me?
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it, we upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better cost less than you think.
I was in Atlanta, and I was working with this group, and they were trying to create this shell company, use this shell company to go public, with all kinds of stuff. So we're sitting in this brother's apartment in the Four Seasons, and there's 3 of us. So it's the guy who's a lawyer they're trying to do this deal with. And we're sitting there, Richard, and literally it was like a chair like this here. And all of a sudden, pain from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet hits me. I can't move. I'm like, so you and me, same thing. God, what's going on? I'm about to die, what's going on? And this is exactly what I hear. I need you to leave. And same thing. And I'm like, why do I need to leave? I need you to leave. So I'm talking about, I could barely, I'm literally, it was like 2 people who had to pull me up. That's how I get up. Guys, I gotta go. It's like a death march to the door. I'm like 1 foot.
Yeah.
I'm going down the hallway, get to the elevator, go downstairs. This follow me the whole time. Valet, get in the car. Pain, just like I'm talking about my entire body. I'm literally driving. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, what? I'm praying because I'm thinking, am I having a stroke? Am I having a heart attack? What's going?
Right.
It drive to my hotel. Go into my hotel room. Voice says, open your Bible. Now, mind you, I'm born and raised Catholic. You ain't raised to know no scripture when you Catholic.
No.
We got the missalette, we got the readings for you.
Yeah.
You ain't, so it's not like.
And when we came up, it was in a language we couldn't even understand.
Right, so it's like, I literally open the Bible. Not even, I'm not thumbing, I just open it. It's not on a page, it goes right to Psalm 1:1. The godly do not walk in the counsel of the wicked.
Wow.
And then the voice says, that's why I needed you to leave.
Wow.
It says, I could not have you in the presence of those two individuals for what it is they are trying to do.
Yeah.
Goes, leaves. I'm like, leaves. Next day.
Right.
I'm talking about we good. We had lunch. We had lunch, four of us, and a woman at lunch brings up the name of one of the two in the room. Came right back.
Wow.
Like, I'm talking about, it immediately hit me.
Right.
Then the voice says, I need you to go tell him the following. And I was supposed to go to New Orleans that weekend for a mentoring program, and the voice says, this pain will remain with you until you go talk to him. Man, I call, say, man, where are you? I need to come to see you. What time can we meet? But again, that's that. So you can either listen, or you can ignore it.
Yeah. You know, it's all energy. Einstein says that everything is energy. If you vibrate on the same wavelength as the thing you want, only that can happen. It's not philosophy, it's physics. It's like love. You meet somebody and you're vibrating on the same wavelength, you fall in love. Now, love, of course, is in relationship to context. You know, you meet somebody and there's a genuine thing.
Right.
Versus when you meet somebody and it's a discordant energy and the wavelength is not in harmony, it's a discord. And the ability to be able to feel the chord versus a discord is where we have to be able to be sensitive to know there's something not right.
Oh, I was talking to this one sister we were talking about. I said this to her and she thought I was crazy. I said, oh, we were talking about folks in lobby entertainment. I said, oh, there are people who I met who in the entertainment business said, who I don't want their cell phone number. She went, but you're a journalist. I mean, I said, no. I said, there are people who I come across who I meet professionally, and it might be on a red carpet or whatever. I said, but I don't want to stay in contact with them.
Right, right.
I said there are others, because we did this when Jada Pinkett Smith executive produced the Angela Davis documentary. We're in New York, then a red carpet, and I'm waiting to interview her, and Will comes over. He said, before you interview me, he said, let me tell you about this guy. He'll just text you, man, how you doing? Your birthday or Father's Day, whatever. And he said, and he doesn't want anything. I said, and I was telling her, I said, that's the difference. There are some people you meet and you say, I can develop a relationship with them.
Right.
The others, no, I met you here, work,
Right.
I see you, how you doing,
Right.
but that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the case for a lot of folk, don't want anything to do with them.
Right, right.
Because you don't want them in your space.
No, you don't. You know, it's like, babies, you got to pay attention to babies. You know, baby sees your aura. Mm-hmm. And if the energy is right, it responds. They smile, they accept you, you can hold them, they come to you, they want to be in your space.
They start yelling and screaming.
Animals come around you, but if animals don't like you, And babies, you can't hold them because they don't want no parts of you. You better pay attention, you know, because they...
Why am I laughing? Because my oldest niece, I have 13 nieces and nephews. Why every time my ex would hold my niece, that girl would yell, holler, and scream. And when it happened, I was like, that baby's saying something. But it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. And then, you know, we can get past whatever filters that we live in, you know, and just be open to receive and just to, you know, vibe. We know when there's trouble. You know, somebody say, man, how can you fly? I'm the greatest flyer in the world, because what I know today is that I have the ability to be able to perceive and to feel if something is not right.
So that voice says, Richard, don't you get on that plane.
Yeah.
You gonna say, what bus station?
Where the bus station? I was on a plane. I'm not gonna mention the carrier, but got on this plane, man, these people were just wrong. The way they treated people, the way they greeted people, they was just wrong, you know, and I kept saying, you know, you guys could be nicer to people. You know, this is not very nice vibe you guys create here. It's like y'all are entitled or something, or like, you know, you shouldn't treat people like this. And then she got real hanky with me. And I said, you know, ma'am, listen, I was in a plane crash, so I understand, you know, the dangers that we're in, and I spoke up enough so that people, oh, that's right, that's the guy from the plane. And I said, you know what? I don't have a good vibe about this plane. I'm getting off. People start reaching.
We following him.
We go with him. It was like,
You let a mutiny off the plane.
yeah, exactly. I'm mutiny, right? But then I felt bad about that. I said, now you see, I'm using it in the wrong way.
They all heard, grab that bag. We following Richard. Yeah, we following Richard. We got to go.
Yeah.
So, Richard, you talking about how people respond. Talk about how it was being this absolute heartthrob. Because Doc, growing up, I swear black people need soaps. Man, they say your name, and man, these sisters would lose their ever-loving minds. Come on now, you know. Come on now, you know that it was like, they were like, ooh, Lord, that Richard Lawson. You know?
Hey, listen, you know, the one thing that was really amazing to me, because I never wanted to do a soap. My agent, one of my first agents came to me with saying, well, I want you to go and audition for this. I don't even remember what soap it was. But by the fact that she suggested that I do a soap was so, I'll tell you how bad it was for me. I left her.
Wow.
If you don't have any higher sense of gradient for my career and what I want, especially after I done sat down with you and I gave you the picture of what I see for myself, which is what I teach people today. You know, in order for you to get what you want, you got to be able to see it.
Visualize it.
You got to be able to visualize
Right.
it, and then you got to be able to see what actions you need to take in order to make that happen. It's like any business, you know, I love the concept of fat burgers. So there was this woman who started Fat Burgers right there on Western and Adams. A little old shack lying around the corner. Daughter went to UCLA business school, realized that they can sell this other places, franchise it. So they moved, they franchised it. Went to San Vicente and Burton Way, and then this third one didn't work. But then Westwood, and now it's all over the world. So it's a concept, it's a vision, it's a business plan. An actor has to have a business plan. So you have to be able to see what it is you want and not just hope you can get in line and somebody will invite you to their party. Your career is what you create, not what somebody offers you.
So you're sitting here thinking, movies.
Yes.
Major television
Yes.
shows and productions.
Yes.
Broadway.
Yes.
And in that hierarchy, soaps were at the bottom. And
Yes.
so you think that's bottom feeding.
Right. And now remember, this is when she suggested to me, you know, I started in 1969. So those early years, there were no oases out there for actors who happen to be black.
Yeah, there were no Hulu, there was no Netflix, there's no streaming services, ain't no black production companies,
No.
significant numbers.
No.
There's none of that.
No. Melvin Band people started that whole thing.
Right. This is 1 year removed from the Kerner Commission report on the race riots.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, but what I saw for myself didn't exist. But my representative need to see what I saw for myself and go for that and not go for the low-hanging fruit.
Which was the soaps.
Which was the soaps.
So she
in
said
LA,
go try it and you fired her.
Particularly in LA. In New York, they understand.
Right.
You could do a Broadway show and do at night and do soaps in the daytime.
Right.
They understand that. LA they don't understand that,
So
right?
you said, boo, this is beneath me.
Absolutely.
And what happened?
I went and got me another agent. And then I started doing my career, and then, you know, stuff happened, man. I started working, and I started my own film, and things started to happen. And then in 1991, we had an actor strike. So the whole year, nobody was working. So it was like, then all my children came to me. You know, they wanted to offer me the part. And I'm saying, you know what? Maybe I could go do all my children for like 2 years, get on there, become the hot, you know, me and Erica Kane, the star of the thing, get in a relationship with her. Then I leave the show and I can take that large audience back to nighttime and film. Right? Well, didn't happen that way. But what did happen was, after the first day shooting in New York, I'm on the street. People walking down the street. Hey, my man from All My Children, what's going on? Yeah, you know, I mean, instant.
Right.
And it was like, damn, soaps, man. Because what I didn't realize is that soaps is basically an institution.
Yes.
Grandmothers and people sat home, athletes. You know that Charles Barkley was 10 minutes late for a game because of watching All My Children?
No, but I mean, man, look, black folks were serious about them soaps.
They were serious about them stories. They call them the stories.
We call them stories. They officially called them soaps.
They did.
But black folks, and then you had to like run down to your grandmother or, hey, this what happened today. My mama watched them.
Right.
And when we watched, I grew up watching, and we were ABC household.
Yeah.
The number one station in Houston was KTRK.
Right.
So it was Ryan's Hope.
Right.
All My Children.
Right.
One Life to Live.
Yeah.
General Hospital.
General Hospital.
We didn't watch. Now the other black people, they were all about Guiding Light, Young and the Restless.
Right.
We were ABC household.
ABC household. And that shit gets inherited.
Yes.
It's passed on from daughter to mother.
Man, we had my
grandparents.
Soap Opera Digest. You had Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
You had soap. My mama subscribed to Soap Opera's Digest.
See, it's huge. It's huge.
So
Debbie Morgan was Angie on All My Children, and still today, the amount of mail that she gets
to this day.
To this day.
So, did you go apologize to the agent you fired?
I did not.
Cause
I did. I should have. But at that time,
you were hot.
At that time, where my vision was and what I saw for myself,
I got it.
You know, my trajectory was here, and she was shooting for down here. You know, and it was like, I mean, it was just.
But you later saw.
I later saw.
Because to this day,
yeah,
you still that brother from All My Children. And you've been off All My Children how long?
Since '94.
Richard Roundtree, he told me, he said he got mad because everybody kept. He said, man, I've done other stuff besides Shaft. And his daddy said, son, he said, there are a lot of people who have done things in his life, don't nobody remember them doing.
True.
He said, the fact that these people associate you with that role, you might want to embrace that, son. And he said, because he said he was bitter and angry about it.
Yeah.
He said that is what changed his view. He said ever since then, he has fully embraced, hey, chef, what's going on? He said, because it was so iconic. That's just the power of that thing.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your older busted phone you just end up living with it? I don't think so. Verizon lets you trade in your broken phone for a shiny new one. You break it, we upgrade it.
You dunk it, doggy bone it.
Slam it, wham it, strawberry jam it, we upgrade it.
Get a 5G phone on us with select plans.
Every customer, current, new, or business.
Because everyone deserves better.
And with plans starting at just $35, better cost less than you think.
When you talk about listening, Catherine Ponder has a book called Open Your Mind to Receive. And I wrote my faith-based book. It's called Listening to the Spirit Within.
Right.
And that's the thing, man, that a lot of people don't get. They go, Roland, why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. You don't see it.
Right.
You don't see it.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I don't understand it.
Right.
And that, man, I think is a testament to why, what you said earlier, why you have to pay attention and realize that your vision may be this.
Yeah.
But if you listen and say, no, actually, I got something for you.
Sure.
And you're going, but that's not on my list. No, that's your list.
That's your list.
But trust me on this one.
Right. Right. And you know, today, man, we live in a world, you know, in the sense of cancel culture, in the sense of, you look at Twitter and all the other social media platforms and how people will attack somebody for their viewpoint or their choices or whatever, you know, that there's no room for someone to make a choice that's unpopular and get on the other side of it, that so many people are making choices that is going to cause the least amount of ruffle. You
Right.
know, that's going to keep them out of the focus and the limelight, so they shut it down or shut up or they won't speak on it. Or
Because they want to do the go along to get along.
They go along to get
As
along.
opposed to say, no, this is my view. I am firm. I have researched it. This is my, and it is sound. It is just. It's not crazy. It's not deranged.
Right.
It's not. And if you want to debate me on it, let's go toe to toe.
Sure.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people who choose that easy way out.
Sure.
Because I get it, man, you went hard on that. Yes. I mean, I was literally, before we even sat out, there was a video that was going around, a fight broke out at the Pittsburgh Steelers game.
Right.
And I posted, I said, I do not understand adult people fighting. So it's a white woman who was with a black guy. She's yelling and cussing at another black guy. Then she touches him or something. All of a sudden, he responds, punches her, gets into a fight. Her man gets involved. Then this whole thing escalates. So I put this up there.
Oh,
And all these people attacking me. Man, you side with the white woman. I said, did you not read what I said? I said, I don't understand adult people fighting. I said, y'all ain't using critical thinking. I said, first of all, she, based upon the start of this whole deal, her man should have intervened and said, babe, I need you to chill. One, we don't know who this fool is. We don't know what he doing, what he care, what he capable of. I said, it's called de-escalation. I said, so y'all are, man, he had a right to defend himself. I said, true. I said, but I need you to think that thing through. I said, now we might get criminal charges filed. Now we might have a civil suit filed. When it could have been, you a fool. Security. I said, so y'all are sitting here mad at me saying, oh, you signed with the white woman. I said, no, you're not thinking through what might. I said, so altercations, a verbal disagreement, a bump, a stepping on my shoe, man, what the hell wrong with you? All of that then escalates in you, then back, then you, and now somebody might end up beaten up, stabbed, shot, dead.
Absolutely.
Because of a simple thing,
Right.
because grown folk. I said, that's what y'all not seeing.
Right, exactly.
I said, you've got to play that thing through. Now, if I do this.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't do that in their careers, in their marriages, in their relationships.
Yeah.
They don't play that thing through. They just only see it
Yeah.
in the moment we're in.
Hey, look, you know, one of the things that has been a real savior to me in terms of my life, in terms of what I engage in or what I allow myself to be affected by is the alcoholic's prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't change you. I can change me. I can change the way that I react to things. And I got to understand the difference between the two. And so therefore, I don't get caught up in the things that, you know, it's like I was talking to a friend and they got drama. And it's like, you know, it's sort of like, as a teacher, the one thing that I have learned is the fact that you know, a psychiatrist cannot internalize. Otherwise, after 2 patients, they got to quit.
Absolutely.
They got to shut it down for the day. You have to be able to horseshoe. Information comes in, and you put the responsibility back where it goes. So it's in terms of, I completely understand. So what are you going to do about that? So how do you feel about that? So what do you think the answer is? Rather than sympathizing. It's empathy versus sympathy. Empathizing is understanding it so that you can relate. Sympathy is duplicating it, taking it in, and I get right on the same level with you and experience those same emotions with you, which helps you to get even sicker. You understand what I'm saying? And so if, for me, because what's true for me is true for me, that I have to understand that which I can do something about and that which I can't. And that which I can't, you know, I can try to support you asking the next question to help you deal with it. Because that problem didn't just start a moment ago. That's got history. If it's hysterical, it's historical. And so deal with that history.
2 questions left. First, you've mentioned teaching several times. What have you, not what have they gotten, but what have you gotten out of your teaching school? What joy does that bring to you? Why did you want to do that?
I started teaching because my mentor asked me to.
Because everybody can't teach.
No, everybody cannot teach. And you know, here's the real key to teaching for me, and this is the joy I get out of it. Marie Montessori schools all over the world. Marie, you know, Dr. Montessori's concept was that it's the teacher's job to provide a place where growth can occur. And the job of the teacher is to pull things out and not to put things in. So My interest is in terms of finding the magic and the joy that exists in each one of us and to help to pull that out. And when I see that happen, like for instance, there's one young lady that's a mentee. Her name is Naire Francis. When she came into the program, she was 12, and she was reading on a second grade level. And she had kind of a lisp. I put a cork in her mouth to have her work on strengthening the muscles in her mouth twice a day, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. I encouraged her to write. She's now an accomplished poet. She's an accomplished creator. She's an accomplished filmmaker. She's a bright, powerful leader of a person. And to be able to see that and to be able to know that I was able to pull that out of her, there's no greater joy in the world. That is a blessing that gives me fuel to continue to do that.
Final question. So you've done a lot. You could easily chill, relax, travel with the wife, go to events. What do you still want to do in your career? Is there something that you have not done that I want to do that?
I think I know that the thing that I'm most interested in is moving our culture forward. And whatever form that takes. And right now it's through our foundation where we're helping the community and helping people. We're trying to build we're building a station where we can put our stuff up so that we have more of a global reach with the concept of 100 asses in the seats and 10,000 eyeballs on it. I want to help the culture of our children with the state of affairs of what's going on in this country and the economic future, fiscal literacy, the importance of that. When we look at global warming, preparing our children and grandchildren to be able to survive, I can't afford to just go. I would love to be able to go and play golf every day. That would be great for me and the rest of my life. But I want my children to have a place that they could take advantage of. I don't want them to, if you look at, there's a film called Soylent Green. You ever see it? Check it out. It was shot in the 60s, and it was about the effect of, ultimately, they didn't call it global warming, but the effect of a planet that has gone wrong. And it takes place in 2022. Now, this was shot in the 60s. So 2022 was like way in the future. Well, here we are, and there it's coming.
Right.
Water is drying up. We're in a crisis that right now we don't feel it. In 50 years, it's going to be a whole nother world. I don't want to leave my children and say, well, what did you do? So I want to move the culture forward. And that's the most important thing that I can do. And the rest of my good years, because I got a lot of good years left, God willing, that I want to continue doing that.
Well, you don't have to play golf every day, but you can do 3-4 days a week.
I just built, I'm going to show you I just built me a golf simulator.
Oh, bro.
I'll show it to you.
I'm a golfer.
Hey, look, at my house, I am now able to get in this golf simulator, and I swear to God, it's like.
Oh, I got 3 sets of golf clubs in 3 cities.
Hey.
So.
We got to play.
Any time, look, you don't understand. I don't need 6 months, 3 months. If we in the same city, I just need 30-minute notice. I've canceled many a meeting.
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
And my and my wife knows. She know how I feel about golf.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I married 18 holes before we got married. Yeah. So she knows that's my thing. Yeah. We gonna do it.
That's beautiful.
Richard, I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, I've had fun. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.